Alright guys, TJHaLy here, back again today. Plenty of stuff to talk about. I'm not going to go through the pools today for the Call of Duty World Championship, but here they are if you want to take a very quick look at them. We'll of course be doing a much greater, more in-depth breakdown of this in the coming days, and then probably do some, again, more in-depth predictions for maybe each pool, or depending on what happens, leading into the World Championship. So those are the pools. Yesterday, of course, though, was the reveal for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the multiplayer reveal, and these are some initial reactions here from some of the pros. This game actually looks good. I'm excited. Clayster says, alright, I'm really going to withhold judgment until we get the comp modes, comp guns, yada yada. It's not CoD. It could be better, could be worse. We'll have to see. This looks more like CoD than the slide cancelling, stim shot, crack aim, fog of war that we're playing now. There's so much gameplay of Modern Warfare now on the internet, on YouTube. It should be easy for you guys to find, and I'm sure a lot of you guys already have. Today, of course, I wanted to take a more competitive look at the things we have confirmed and the things that we saw yesterday, and look to what degree that is going to affect the experience we're going to be having this year in the game, because there's a lot of things, in my opinion, which might be good for CoD, might not be. Obviously, we will have to find out when the open beta comes around. Some people say beta, some people say beta, so, whatever, beta, I think that's how you guys would prefer me to say it. So, yeah, when that comes around, we'll have a look at exactly the dates and times for that in just a second. We will have a chance to get our hands on the game and see exactly how this is going to be turning out, because it's very different, right? It's different in terms of its look, it's different in terms of how the weapons, behave, how the character modeling works, like the fact you can put guns on walls and stuff. It's very Battlefield-esque. We've got big maps here, like we've got a Battle Royale game mode, and we've also got, apparently, on the Battle Royale map, there'll be like a 100 v 100 match. You can play 20 versus 20, you can play 10 v 10. It's a very, very interesting situation that we have here, and obviously things are going to change a lot. To what degree this is going to impact competitive play, probably be quite significant. That's kind of what I wanted to delve into today. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like if you do, subscribe if you're new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. And let's hop right into the news here. So here we go. Modern Warfare does not have a mini-map enabled. Now this is a big deal, I think. Now, at the top here we have this compass, as I was talking about a couple of days ago now, and on the compass you still have the little red dots of where the enemies are. So the people that are saying, oh, taking out the minimap is a good thing because we now get to, no longer will people be chasing red dots, that's not actually the case, because you can still chase red dots. You can just see them at the top here on your compass. Now your teammates appear on your screen as little, I'm not sure if you can see it quite here on this image, maybe you'll, okay, well, over here you can see possibly little blue triangles pointing at where your teammates are. And, that's, in my opinion, not good enough in terms of for what the minimap provides, because the minimap provides you some spacing, how far away your teammates are from you, and also what direction they're looking. As I talked about, the minimap is not about where the enemies are, it's about where your teammates are, because then you can figure out things like spawn flips and, well, indirectly figure out where the enemies are, which is really what you're looking for. And supposedly they will be adding an outline to your teammates through the wall, so that will help determine some sort of distance when the full game occurs, or when the full game comes out. But apparently all the YouTubers that went along and played complained about the lack of a minimap. The minimap appears if you get a personal UAV for 2 points, or a team UAV for 3 kills, or whatever it is. But of course in competitive, we're not going to be having UAVs, I would hope. So that basically means we're not going to be having a minimap, at least in the current build, which I don't like at all, especially for something like League play. I think that's going to be absolutely tragic, but I did already talk about that, so I don't want to go too in depth on it today again. But it's just, that's the situation. Now, then we have this thing called Gunsmith. This allows you to put between 30 and 60 attachments on every weapon. How bonkers is this? So this is what it looks like. Apparently it's very intuitive to move around with and add the things on that you would like. But look, as you can tell here as you're scrolling through it, your attachments have pros and cons. Now, I'm not sure this is something that I particularly like. There are a load of attachments, but, that kind of means that it's, to some degree, it could be good for competitive, because we're probably going to be seeing some very, very varied, play styles and what different people and different players, different teams decide to prefer to put on their weapons. Because, if you look this year, how much difference have we really seen between what different teams operate with? Okay, we might have an ICR with a thermal, we might have an ICR with quick draw instead of FMJ, or whatever the case may be. Maybe someone tries it without the double grip or something. Like, there's very limited changes. People basically use the same attachments on the Maddox for sure, and on the Sorg, people switch it up a little bit. Some people like using fast mag, some people not. So, you know, those are kind of the minimal changes that we see this year in the classes, whereas coming up in Modern Warfare, it's going to be very, very different. We're going to have so many options, but the fact that it's possible to, you know, have an attachment make your gun worse, like potentially the vanilla weapon could be better than a weapon with a couple of attachments on that make your, you know, that make the gun worse, and even if you put all the attachments on to increase your speed, that will have some other downsides. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, of course. Will this actually be a positive thing, or is this just going to be too cumbersome? I think, to be honest, the more variety should be the better, but it's a pretty big change that I can put a stock on a weapon and it will actually reduce my aim down sights time or something like that. But I guess that is a bit of a learning curve we'll have to get into. So I'm not, you know, I'm pretty impartial on this issue, to be honest, overall. So the open beta has been announced. It's going to be September 12th, first on PS4, but in the second weekend, supposedly there is going to be cross-play. So supposedly at the second weekend, it's going to be PS4, consoles, all consoles, Xbox, and also the PC should be able to play in the open beta. So quite exciting times. Of course, how it's meant to work is that if you're on PC, then you won't get put up in lobbies with console players, but we don't know. So I thought what I'd run through here is all the things that have been confirmed regarding the kill streaks, the weapons, all of that stuff. So we have a personal radar. Okay, so I was mistaken. It's 3 kills for a personal radar, 4 kills for a normal UAV counter UAV care package, 5 kills cluster strikes, cruise missile precision airstrike. These are things that probably will stay in the game. Remote controlled UGV. So some interesting things here. I haven't had a chance really to have a look at everything here and how it's all playing out. Emergency airdrop VTOL jet. So, you know, some exciting things. Of course, these are kill streaks, which means that the objective is not going to play a factor here, and we're not going to be having the assist equals a kill that we have currently in Black Ops 4, which means that streaks are much, much easier to get. So, you know, I'm not if for competitive, I don't think it's such a big deal that we don't have kills, because that we don't have score, that we have kill streaks, because, you know, people are going to play the game the same anyway, because, you know, you're trying to win. But in public matches, it's going to be a bit of an issue. People playing for kill streaks, and then they're not going to be even trying to get objectives because you don't get any points out of it. So I don't particularly like that. But for competitive, it shouldn't be the biggest deal in the world. So then we have a few more. Chopper Gunner White Phosphorus, which is kind of like a napalm strike thing going on. You can get a Juggernaut as well, a gunship. So some pretty damn cool stuff going on here. Some weapons. So these are the weapons we've got so far. One thing to note here is that the recoil on these guns seems very, very significant from what I've seen. Like, I saw, you know, some M4A1 gameplay, and wow, it just goes straight up to the sky. It feels very realistic, the way it recoils to some degree. Apparently, it could be predictable and potentially controllable as well, like Black Ops 4, which is exciting for sure. But still, a very different change. Going to be a different style of Call of Duty. Very much back to Call of Duty's roots, I suppose. Okay, AK-47. Supposedly with the AK, you can actually make it into an AK-47U or AK-74U, or I think it's an AK-74U, which is like the SMG version. And it's the same with the AUG. You can create this into like an assault rifle if you add the appropriate attachments onto it. And I'm pretty sure you can add like unlimited attachments, right? So you're not going to be putting 60 attachments on your gun, because they've all got pros and cons, and some of them, you know, you can't put on with each other, but you can put as many attachments as you like onto a weapon that it will allow you to do. So you can change weapons very, very significantly, which means that when you're watching gameplay, it might be pretty tough to tell what gun they actually have with all the alterations on it. So yeah, moving onwards, marksman rifles as well, which is, I think you can put scopes on these and like make them one-hit kill sniper type weapons, even though the actual sniper, the only one we've had access to so far, is a very, very slow one. So, you know, we'll have a look through some perks here. Apparently perks actually do make a pretty significant difference within the game. We'll just scroll through them. I don't really want to, you know, look at it in too much detail here, because they don't seem too significant, even though these perk 3s, you know, a lot of these we've seen in the past. But if you guys want to pause the video and have a look at them in more detail, of course, feel free to do so. Overkill back as a perk. So no more of this wild card stuff, and we'll have a look exactly how the classes are being sorted out in a second. Here are the lethal, so please get rid of some of this stuff from competitive, like Claymore, C4, Thermite. Maybe the thermite's not so bad. Proximity mine, like this is all classic stuff. Needs to go. We have stim as well as a tactical device. So health regen is back to automatic, just to make that clear. But there is also a stim tactical, which allows you to bring your health back up really, really quickly, which is very strange. But it is automatic health regen overall. A few other things here, heartbeat sensor, bringing that from back in the day. And you know, here we have another clip with a player smashing through a door, or not necessarily smashing through it, but you know, banging through a door. And this is a nice little feature I thought I'd show. But you know, it does look very like Rainbow Six-esque, right? Which, you know, maybe is a good thing, because people who are in other communities that are, you know, think Call of Duty is the laughing stock of esports or whatever, are actually turning their heads at these kind of reveals and being like, well, this looks like a good game or something that I am used to, from their perspective at least. From what I'm used to playing Call of Duty, this is slightly different. But maybe this will work well for bringing other people into the franchise. So yes, there's no pick 10. Gunsmith lets you put 5 attachments on the weapons, just to make that clear. 1 primary, 1 secondary, 3 perks, 1 lethal, 1 tactical. So, you know, no pick 10. None of that back anymore. It's much more traditional here, and we've just got a primary, a secondary, lethal, tactical, 3 perks. You know, it is what it is. I guess that's the route they're going down. I personally don't really like the fact that there's less customization in this, you know, with your classes. But I guess it's not the end of the world, and that's just the route they've gone down this year. So we also have this one. This is what I was talking about with the AK-74U. You can make it into one from an AK if you configure it in the right manager. What am I on about? In the right manner, which is pretty cool. The final game in Modern Warfare will have outlines for the teammates, as I mentioned a second ago. You know, the one snipe had a very slow ADS time, so a lot of this from Charlie Intel, but I'm sure you guys already know who these people are. Seen this question a lot. There was no dead silence perk in this build of Modern Warfare. No indication if it will be added. If you missed it, here's everything else. Now, apparently it may be some sort of special ability on one of the characters. I'm not exactly sure what I've heard about this, but, you know, if there's no dead silence, that would be a pretty big deal. I think it will be in the game one way or another, but it's not going to be a perk from what we saw so far. So yeah, now that's another thing to keep your eye on. Matchmaking based on input device as well, keyboard or controller, as we just discussed. And yeah, to finish things off, this is what Charlie Intel says about the minimap. There's no minimap. It doesn't ruin the game, but it does affect the overall flow. And Exclusive Ace is saying that he absolutely hates it and he wishes they would turn it back. So yeah, be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on everything. We'll go over some other stuff in the coming days. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you next time.